Hi everyone, hope you are doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, after the general election, the Roots party leader, George Wajakoya, retreated to Western region. And he has been moving around in about all the sub-counties in Kakamega County, in primary school, high school, and even meeting with the leaders in the village. Wajakoya has been doing this very silently, but today he has come out to speak his mind as far as how William Ruto is leading this country. And Wajakoya statement is coming at a time when one of the UDA member of parliament, the Fafi MP, Salah Yakub, had suggested that they are planning to change the constitution to remove the term limit and replace it with the age limit, 75. That alone, it means it was going to give William Samoei Ruto a leeway to rule this country until he turned 75 years. That means more than 25 years, kama ile ya Moi. In fact, in zaidi ya Moi ama something like that. And this is what Wajakoya had to say. Listen.
But for Ruto, this is the message. You are the president, you are sitting on that chair temporarily. Don't you dare bring in your shenanigans by saying that you want to, by sending in MPs with people like Farouk, that we are trying to find out whether this can be a hereditary government. I'm telling Ruto, try. Atufanya atumtoe katiba, ndio ukae hiyo kiti forever. Just sit there knowing that Uhuru has also been there and look at where Uhuru is. Now you are misjudging what Uhuru has been doing and you are doing it together. Sasa unasema Uhuru ndiye alifanya na ulikuwa na yeye. Hebu tuambie ulifanya nini wakati huo na Uhuru alifanya nini? Kama sio hivyo, you are all the same. I am the official opposition leader. We need young people in this country, people who are not tainted, but we are not going to accept recycling.
Now, Wajakoya has finally declared himself as the official opposition leader in this country. Of course, in his capacity, they did not win election. So that means he's on the opposition side or the minority side. Kama kona ma MCA wake, wabunge ama nini, they can move on and do the oversight role. That's the truth of the matter. This is what Senator Kiprotich Arap Cherargei posted, and this is actually 5 days ago, when the statement from the Fafi MP came out. In fact, in one way or another, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, Cherargei was just exposing William Samoei Ruto. And these are some of the reasons why maybe the people around William Ruto kicked him out of the inner circle of William Ruto, because he was leaking out some of the information. So you might think that he's making this tweet in favor of William Samoei Ruto, but in other word, or in other way, he might be just fighting William Samoei Ruto indirectly. Because now this is just a matter of exposing Ruto's plan. UDA is an epitome of democracy and rule of law. Honorable Salah Yakub is within his right to push this amendment. Let's listen first. I shall support in the Senate. This is a conversation that might happen in the future by Kenyans on scrapping of the term limit of president. Kazi ni kazi. What he is speaking is totally different from what the UDA members of parliament were speaking, because almost everyone was distancing themselves from the Fafi MP speech. But Cherargei is agreeing with him, and even he's suggesting that this will be a discussion in the near future. That tells you that in as much this discussion is not coming out openly as of now, it means these people were testing just the water to see the reaction of Kenyans. And then from there, in the future, they can know how to approach this issue. So it means Cherargei is telling the electorate, prepare in the near future that this debate will come back. And these are some of the reasons why Wajakoya is coming out openly to tell William Samoei Ruto he will not allow him to change the constitution so that he can become a life president, then it will be an inherited thing. So from him, he will pass to another person whom he wish to lead. That means just like we had a very sad moment of the former late President Moi of 25 years, then we are going to have another 25 years of William Samoei Ruto. What Ruto is trying to do actually is to try and balance the years Kikuyus have been in power. You take 10 years of Kibaki and another 10 years of Uhuru Kenyatta. That will amount to 20 years. So William Ruto, in his own wisdom, which is not popular and which is wrong, he is deciding that he better rule for another 25 years so that now he will recover the years Kikuyus have been in power, to balance it, because now this thing has become a Kikuyu Kalenjin matter. Because, you know, if Ruto will exit after 10 years, definitely, there's no any other Kalenjin who I see has been prepared to take over from William Samoei Ruto. That means this seat, either it will go to Mount Kenya or somewhere else, depending on how people are going to prepare themselves. Because Mount Kenya will not support an outsider more than 2 or 3 terms. Because even we know, in the next election, maybe the Mount Kenya region will reinvent themselves and come with another candidate. And that can elbow out William Ruto. That's why he was pushing, in my view, to have this term limit deleted and replaced by age limit. So you remove Raila from the way and you remain the only person there. Akina Mudavadi wakifika huko miaka imekataa. Kalonzo Musyoka miaka imekataa. Anabaki nani? Hata Rigathi Gachagua kutoa hapo karibu. What's the difference between Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto? Gachagua is 1 year older than William Samoei Ruto. So Ruto akitana 75, even Gachagua atakuwa 76. So atakuwa out of the equation. That is the mind of William Samoei. But now, I don't think if it is going to be an easy matter for William Ruto to have his way. Just the way Wajakoya has said, the statement is unpopular, especially when he took over power and has made everything expensive, so hard for Kenyans to afford and have an easy life in this country. The beginning of William Ruto is one of the worst. His point of beginning is the worst that anyone should not even think about. So that alone has lowered his points. You talk about the issue of the Hustler Fund. It has become another nightmare. It has scared everyone. So anything Ruto will bring to the table is going to be unpopular. It will be very easy to decampaign him. And the people like Wajakoya, when they come out to speak, that make sense, because Ruto will be aware that people are putting him. People are putting him to all the words has. Because now William Ruto is going to realize that people are definitely checking on how he's doing his job, and they can even inform the electorate. They can educate the electorate on what the government has done, how the government has infringed on their right to food, what wanakufa njaa. So this is a good move for Wajakoya. And one thing I'm learning about Wajakoya is that Wajakoya is finally appreciating that our politics is local. You cannot just campaign in Nairobi and expect to win an election. At least you need a constituency. And where is your constituency? Your first constituency is where you come from. Our politics is local. Our tribes matters a lot. So you go back to Western. Start from there so that next election you don't get 62,000. At least make 300, 400 or 500,000. In fact, to make sense in an election, if you're a presidential candidate, a beginner, at least you need like 500,000, 500,000. People will take you serious. Anything less than that, no one will even bother about you. So because of this, Wajakoya is back in the village. Another good thing is that at least in as much Raila Odinga has been coming out to point out some issues, at least other people like Wajakoya are joining Raila Odinga in saying no on some things that they can speak on behalf of Raila Odinga, not Raila Odinga need to speak alone. Watu wengine pia ni vizuri watoke nje waongee, waseme maneno yao, watu wawasikie. So Wajakoya is doing good, and this also make the media to capture his speech, and that's why we are also here to talk about George Wajakoya. So Ruto ajipange. It will not be easy. Now they are bringing in the issue of, soon they are going to check on the boundary and the limitation. That means they can add some constituencies. But now someone is bringing in the debate of the counties. So they want to add more counties. Then the question people are putting on the table, once you talk about adding more counties, there are counties which are large, but no one is talking about those counties. For example, if you go in Mount Kenya region, what about Kiambu? It's big. Kakamega is big. Kakamega is big. What about that? People are not talking about that. They are talking about making a tribal counties. Yes, we understand the constitution is saying that you need a group of people who speak same language or culture. They share culture, something like that. But you cannot have a county that has just maybe two constituencies, and then you have maybe like 5 MCAs. What will they be debating surely? Which county assembly will be that? How can they do business? In fact, what Ruto is thinking on is contrary to what Raila Odinga was thinking on. Because the original idea of Raila Odinga was that they needed to reduce these counties to 8, the former regions. That will make sense. Or if not, then you have the 8 governors, regional governors, and then you have county governors. So county governors will be watakuwa chini ya regional governors. So you see, at least if you have those 8, it makes sense when these people will come together and form a regional assembly. It will make sense even business-wise. It is something good to go with. So that's the view from Wajakoya, and of course many other Kenyans who don't agree with Ruto. Thank you. See you in our next video.